Welcome to the Jess Turner Talk Show, and I'm Jess Turner. And I know a lot of people have been wondering, where is Jess Turner? You've been seeing my wife and my daughter mostly on the show, but I am here. Well, I'm not going to say I'm back because I'm doing so much, and I have my wife and my daughter doing most of the shows now. But anyway, I'm just doing a little talk today of a few things. I know a lot of people, when they get ready to do a talk show, if the preacher get ready to get up and preach, the missionaries ready to get up and talk, they usually have to outline everything. But me, I'm different. I don't like to write anything. I like for everything to come from here and from here. I don't like to write anything down. I like to just talk about what comes to my mind. And today we're talking about religious. And I guess I had strayed away from church because I grew up in church with my mom and my dad, and after I went in the Army and I was discharged in the 70s, I kind of never went back to church. And I got with my wife, and all of a sudden my wife, her mother was a missionary and her dad was a bishop, Bishop Graham and Missionary Graham. That was her mother and dad. And she was a church-going lady, but I had her going to different clubs with me and so forth. And I just couldn't wait till Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those was my nights, to have a good time. So I had put God on the back burner. That's not a good thing to do, especially what he had done for me. But anyway, that went on for years and years and years. And then all of a sudden she went out with her mother to church one night, and she came back. When they came, because her parents was living with us. And so when she came in to the door, at least I went to the door and opened the door because I heard them driving up. So I opened up the door and she came in first. And when I saw her, the first thing that I thought about when I saw her, I didn't think about it, I saw it. My mind said, you have lost your dancing partner. She looked it different that night when she came in. She had got saved in the church. So it went on, and I still didn't go to church. I went out partying by myself, and dancing with other ladies and all that, but it wasn't the same woman. I did it for quite a long time, and all of a sudden it just hit me, something got to change. Well, maybe I'll get this woman to come back and start partying with me again. But that didn't happen. I would come in some nights and she would be with the kids, reading the Bible. And after they got through reading the Bible, they would start praying. And I had a game room downstairs. I would walk right over them, go down to the game room, get me something to drink, shoot some pool, or mess with my motorcycle, And I did that for quite a long time. Walking over them, and they're reading the Bible and then praying. Finally, one time I came in and I found myself sitting in with them and reading the Bible. And that's when it took off. It was hard, yes, because, I couldn't give up that life, I'm thinking about Incline Village, Lake Tahoe, Reno, Las Vegas, and going all over California playing golf, on the weekend. That a lot of things was hard to give up. I didn't want to give those things up. But all in all, after a while, I did give up Vegas. I give up Reno. I give up Lake Tahoe. I give up Incline Village. But I didn't stop playing golf because it came to me, when you was trying to get real good in golf, you remember? And you went out, you was leading the tournament by 12 strokes that Saturday. And that Sunday, you lost that tournament because you went out Saturday night with the boy, with all the group, and got drunk. I didn't really get drunk, I got high as a Cooter Brown, you know. And that's one thing about golf. You cannot be a good golfer and be a drinker, a party person. Drinking don't mix with golf. Not even smoking. Well, I never did smoke in my life. I couldn't never smoke. But drinking, I had that habit so bad, I had to have a drink every time you look up. All through the day, I'm drinking. But you know, that didn't stop me. Golf didn't make me stop drinking. I'm gonna tell you what stopped me from drinking. I came to Texas and to see my dad. They called me and said, your dad is very sick and don't think he's gonna make it till tomorrow. So we flew in here that night and I was at the hospital with my wife and my mom and my family, and my mom said, yeah, they said your daddy won't be leaving this hospital tomorrow. Otherwise, he is dying. And man, that hurt me so bad. And I got my wife and went to the cafeteria. We was on my way to the cafeteria to get something to drink. And we passed by the chapel. And I don't know, I never prayed in my life. You know, other than, you know, sitting in on my wife and them when they pray sometime at the house. But I never did pray. But something had me to go in there, and I asked my wife to go in the chapel with me. And I prayed for my daddy. But you know, I didn't have nothing to bargain with God. You know, I asked him to heal my daddy, but seemed like he was asking me to give him something. But what could I give him? I ain't had nothing to give him. But something came to me, give up drinking. Ooh, that was tough. Give up drinking? No, I can't do that. But do you love your daddy? I made a promise that night in that chapel, if he would let my daddy get well, that I wouldn't drink no more. And I'm telling you, that's almost like giving up my life. Because that's just the way I used to be with alcohol. I was strung out on alcohol. But after the prayer in the chapel, we went back and sit in the waiting room. And about 30 minutes, that nurse came to the door and called my mom. She begged for my mom. And my mom went over, and my mom and her, you know, my mom just started smiling. And I'm sitting over there, and what is mom smiling and laughing, and dad is dying? I went over to ask, Mom, you so happy dad is dying. I was going to say something, I don't know what I was going to say. But before I got ready to say anything, she said, Jess, the nurse said your daddy is getting stronger. I couldn't believe it, because I didn't think about the prayer I prayed in that chapel. And everybody went to getting happy. And I'm going to tell you all something. I know prayer works, because my daddy didn't only leave that hospital the next day when he wasn't supposed to leave, but he had the church that I'm going to right now in St. Marcus. He had that church built, and he pastored that church 3 or 4 more years. That, it's no lying in me. I'm telling it like it is. My dad got up and was walking the next day. They didn't have to take him out in a wheelchair that next day from the hospital. He walked out. And he walked for 4 more years, because he was overseeing the church being built over there, you know. Because was over there every day while the carpenters was building that church for him. And after it was built, he pastored that church 3 or 4 more years before he passed away. Yes, I was kind of mad with God. One master, you know, he done let your dad die, might go back to drinking. Because all those years that I wasn't drinking, it was almost killing me. I had that urge, you know, when you're craving something. Because see, I craved alcohol. I wanted to drink so bad. And everybody know me in California. Everywhere I went, somebody was bringing me a drink. And I'm talking and almost ready to drink the drink. And my mind said, you know, you made that promise to God. But then, after my dad got sick again and he passed away, I really started to go back to drinking. But I didn't, because I had made that promise to God. Look how many times I made that promise to my wife. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit partying. I made that promise to, I would make it to you or anybody. But see, long as I make it to you, I don't give a darn, you know. But once you make that promise, I learned. My mom told me a long time ago. So when anytime you make a promise to God, you better keep it. And I read something about it in the Bible. In Ecclesiastes, I've read about the same thing. Don't make no promise to God unless you really mean what you say. Because you will suffer. Maybe not right now, but you're going to suffer. So don't play around with God. But all in all, you know, my dad, you know, he did pastor the church for 3 or 4 more years after that. I think about 4 years. And then he passed away. But every time we would come to Texas, we would go to that church, you know. And it was on because of my dad, you know. But, you know, I had to get out of that. Don't go to church on account of somebody, you know, your parents or somebody you favor. You go to church for God. So that's what I learned over the years after my dad passed away. Whatever you do it for God. Don't do it for man. Because see, man makes so many promises anyway. You know, I look at some of the churches today, and they got all these man-made rules, you know. And I think that's why a lot of people are not in church today. Because man makes up all of these rules and everything. And if it's not coming from the Bible, you don't tell me anything. I'm not going to go by what all those traditions and rules you make up. You show it to me in the Bible, then I'll listen. But other than that, I'm not going to hear that all this hogwash with a lot of these preachers standing behind the pulpit trying to tell you what to do. And really, they don't even know the Bible. Because most preachers get up in the church today, and you know what? They preach from the top of the pages, on top of the pages. They don't do no research or nothing. See what I mean? They don't know anything about God. Something just came to me once and said, do you really know? Do people really know God? Do you know God? No, I don't. Because the only way I'm going to know God, I'm going to have to get the Bible and read it. And then I'll get to know Him. But if I don't read the Bible, I don't know God. So I started reading the Bible more and more and more and more. And I got to know God a lot more than what I used to. And I still don't know Him enough because I haven't read the Bible that much. But I read it all the time now. I'm new and getting into the church right now, you know. And I'm going to stay. I'm not looking back. I'm not turning back. I'm staying with the Word of God now. Reading about the Lord and what He's all about. I know it say He made us and He know all about us before we were even born. Everything that we do is because He let us do it. We're not doing nothing on our own. You know, and you hear a lot of preachers get up and talk about what they do. They're not doing anything. It's God letting them do whatever you do. He's the one letting you do it. And another thing I was going to talk about. So many, I never heard my dad ask, now he had the church built over there in St. Marcus. Didn't ask no one. He didn't beg nobody for no money. He did it from here. And I'm going to tell you about my daddy. A lot of people knows him because they called him Shorty. He worked at the locker plant. He helped a lot of families. We didn't know this until he passed away and the families came and told us what our daddy had done for them. My daddy didn't go but to the 3rd grade in school, but he was a true businessman. He didn't ask a soul for no money when he had the church built over there. God supplied his need and helped him build that church over there. Give him the money to have it built. So I know it had to be God because my dad wasn't doing any work, you know. People donated. People from Houston came down and donated things after the church was built. A guy came down in a brand new organ with the big, what you call them, the big, the one, the speakers, the big speakers, put all over the church, and the mics, everything. Then another lady come in and she donated the drums. So everything that, and then all of the, I call them benches, but they call them pews. Those were donated. The carpet, everything. Now, that's what you call a true man of God. I gotta believe in my heart today, and I don't judge anyone. Yes, I used to judge everybody, but I learned when I read the Bible, let God do the judging, because we can't judge nobody. I don't want to never do that again, judge nobody. But if I had to say where my daddy went, I had to believe that God have him right now. Because the things that he done, I never seen my dad do any negative thing. He didn't. I'm a witness, and I know I was going to service for a long time in the Army. But people in Texas always told me, said, you know what? Said, we never saw your daddy do anything negative. He didn't cheat on my mom. And every time when we was kids, every time we woke up in the morning, we saw him. Every time we went to bed at night, we saw my daddy. He was a good man. A lot of people say today that I'm like my daddy. But see, I did a lot of bad stuff, when I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, and 50s, Because see, I was like an outlaw, See, God changed me. I was at one time trouble. My wife even told me one time after we was married, but her mom and dad really liked me because I was respectful around them. But when I wasn't around them, I was my own old bad self, But around them, I was always respectful. They told me, see, he seemed like a nice young man. Say, we'll let y'all get married. And we got married when I brought my wife back here and let my parents see her. And I was really scared because I didn't know I was going to get married. But when I brought her back here, my dad took them her right away. He loved her like one of his own daughters. My mom was a little skeptical, but all of a sudden they got real close and everything. And she seen how my wife was, And I got to say today, my wife truly a woman of God. Because I got on her one time, I said, baby, I said, you pray more than Daniel in the Bible. Because I had read a little bit about Daniel, how he prayed all the time. I said, you pray more than Daniel. Every time, look, you want to pray. She prayed for everything. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. More of us need to do that. Our president needs to do more than that. I always, when he was being elected, I was so happy for him and everything. And he done everything good. But one thing he done that I don't like, and that's a strike against him with me. There's no way in the world you should turn against the Bible. A man marrying a man, a woman marrying a woman, the Bible don't go for that stuff. So That's one thing he done wrong. Now he lost a lot of everything from me when he did that. Because you got to believe in the Bible. Like a lot of people come up and say they don't believe in God. I tell you, you know what? You are a damn lie. You are ignorant of something. It's God who made us. Who do you think made you? You think you just come out of your mother's stomach and that's it? Who made this beautiful world? Look around you, all season after season. Now right now we're coming into springtime. All the trees and grass is getting green and everything. But around December, November, December, look what happened. Everything turning yellow and brown and all of that. That's God doing that. His work. You look at all of the big mountains in California and Hawaii and pass through Arizona and see all of those big boulder rocks, bigger than this house, sitting on top of each other. You think man put them up there? No. That's God's work. Ain't no way in the world nobody gonna ever make me believe there is not a God. It's a whole lot of things I like to talk about, but I'm gonna cut it off because I want to give my daughter time for editing. You can tune in on some of our shows on Time Warner, and also I'm getting my daughter have got me to know about Facebook, YouTube, and all that. You can go on the internet and see some of our shows now. But anyway, I'm going to be coming back again because I got a lot to talk about, you know. And remember this, the good book said, judge ye not. Let's quit judging people, all right? And let's do it God's way. And another thing, let's talk about it sometime. You want to talk to me? Email me sometime, all right? I used to get a lot of emails, but I've been gone so long everybody thought I was gone. But anyway, let's talk about a lot of things on the next Jess Turner Talk Show.